Hey everybody, it's Judy Clock here at Stampin' with Crafty Clock, coming to you today for another live demo. I hope you're having a good week. This week I'm going to finish out the week. We started on Tuesday with the lesson at lunch with the Lucky Clover set, and I kind of showed you how to use the negative from the punched piece to kind of create that background paper that you can use to make a card with. And today we're going to just continue on. I really like this set, and I'm using it in my February workshop. So we're going to do 2 more cards tonight, just kind of finishing out the week with a little bit of luck. All right, so here we go. So we've got a simple stamping card first. So all we're going to stamp is we're going to stamp some of the large shamrocks, some of the littler like border shamrocks, and a little sentiment. But what really makes this card pop is the rainbow colors on back, because I always think leprechauns, shamrocks, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I don't know if you can tell, but we used a little bit of that distressed gold paper behind our sentiment. And we've got some brass butterflies that kind of give us, again, that gold accent. So we're kind of trying to tie in all of the pieces of luck, you know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the 4-leaf clovers. So hopefully whoever gets this card has a little bit of luck coming their way. And then we're going to step it up and we're going to do a fun fold. And we're going to do a little bit of coloring on our sentiment with our Stampin' Write markers. We're going to do some two-tone coloring on the same block. And then we're going to open it up. And we've got a little bit of a shamrock here I put a little bit of ran it through the embossing folder to kind of give it a little bit of texture. And then you're going to flip that up and you're going to have another message. So this is just another fun fold. And if you have birthdays coming up, like I have a cousin who actually was born on St. Patrick's Day. So obviously I would probably say happy St. Patrick's Day, happy birthday on that card for her. So let's go ahead. And I'm a March baby too. So I love green. Green's my favorite color. I love green. I love shamrocks. I mean, I would never be offended if someone gave me like a Irish theme or St. Patrick's Day themed birthday card. I think that's just what happens when you're a March baby. All right, so let's get started. So this is going to be really kind of simple. So for our base, I have a piece of thick Whisper White. It's our standard 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Excuse me. Then I have a piece of our regular basic white. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have some 1/2-inch strips of different colors. I have Daffodil Delight, Pacific Point, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Pumpkin Pie, and Real Red. And we're going to use that to create that background. And then I've just got some shaded spruce. We're going to do some tone-on-tone stamping to get those shamrocks. And then I've got here a piece of the basic white and the distressed gold that I stamped with the Label Me Fancy punch. So again, I think this is something that's very easily doable for a beginner. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to pull in my big silicone mat because I'm going to be using glue. And I don't want to get my glue everywhere. Stampin' Up! Does sell a little like 6 by 6-inch silicone mat, but I tend to be messy and this is going to go well over that. So I just wanted to pull out my big one for tonight. My sister had gifted me with 2 of these one year for my birthday, which was very thoughtful of her. So they do come in handy when I'm working with a little bit more. So I'm just going to go ahead, and that's, I think, actually the empty one. Let's grab the one that has more glue in it. And we're going to just go ahead and we're going to just kind of put these down here. And there's really no right way to put these down. I'm just going to kind of put them down so I make sure that I can get them all. And I can either put it on the strip or you can put it right on the white cardstock. And obviously we're going to have to trim these down when we're done. Okay, a little bit of glue there. Okay, this one maybe I'll put a little bit of strip, lay a strip here. We're going to put our yellow down. Okay. All right. Now the green is a little tiny bit short, so I just got to make sure that I have it going off both sides of my paper. Again, I'm just going to put another strip down. Let me move that up. I hope my phone kept slipping on Tuesday. I'm hoping it's not going to slip today. I don't know. Sometimes I can't get the knobs on my mount to really hold tight. I did splurge and I did buy myself a new mount with some better lighting. So I'm hoping when that comes in, we'll have some better lighting. All right, and we're just going to keep on doing this. All right, we've got that there. I do have my baby wipes handy because I'm going to end up with glue on my fingers as usual. And that's why, now you see why I put this big old silicone mat down, just to kind of make sure I don't get it all over. All right, so that looks good. Let me cap my glue. Let me wipe off my inky fingers. And if you're watching, go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from. I love to see where everybody is coming in from on this. It's kind of a dreary day today, a little bit of rain, overcast, but I like to know where everybody's coming in, calling in from, and watching from. And if you are here, go ahead and give me a shout out. Let me know that you're here. All right, so I've got my paper snips. I'm just going to go ahead and trim these right up. We're just going to have those equal with the edge of our basic white. Okay, do the same thing on this side. That's the only problem, is I got to clean my scissors after too. All right, so this, I think, is going to be so fun. I just think it's a fun card. It's a colorful card. So for somebody who doesn't really maybe have a lot of supplies, if you've got the different colors of paper, you can certainly go ahead and do this. Let me move this out of our way. I think we're done with that. All right, there we go. All right, so now we're ready to put this down on our card. Let me see if I can just, okay. You know what? When you don't have your bone folder, you can use your blocks to give you a nice crisp crease. All right, so I'm ready to put this down. I'm going to add this with some Stampin' Seal. Oh boy, this Stampin' Seal is just really giving me fits. I thought I had fixed this one, but I guess not. Let me try the other one that I had. If not, we're going to be going on to liquid glue. All right, let's see if we can get this to work. This is the one that was doing this. It was tearing up my paper, and I don't know why. Okay, let's just see. Let's just see if we can. There we go. I don't know if I was pushing too hard or what the deal was, but a very light touch. Hopefully, we'll get this to work. All right. I'm ready to put this on. Piece off there. Okay, now that we've kind of got our background, let's go ahead and get our stamping done. So I'm going to use our shaded spruce. I like doing tone on tone. That's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to stamp on our little white label. We're just going to stamp our sending luck and love. All right, put that there. All right, we're just going to put that off to the side. Now we want to stamp 3 of these large shamrocks. Stamp one there. Stamp one there. And we'll stamp one here. And this was just some scrap paper that I had left over from another project. So hold your scraps. Don't get rid of them. They can always come in handy for a different project. You never know. And I also wanted to stamp, I almost forgot. I'm going to stamp some rows of these little ones. Okay, just like one there and one there. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got the front of our card decorated. Now we're ready to punch out our shamrock. Just come over here real quick. And I'm going to, we've got 3 to punch out. Now this is a little bit too long. I'm just going to have to trim this down a little bit. Sometimes it's hard when you don't know exactly how you have to position it in there. But there we go. There's one. And that wasn't a great stamp. All right, let me cut this off. And let me trim that. Sometimes right around the stem, there's a little bit of a problem. All right. Let's get this set up. Okay. There's 2. And we're going to do our third one. Let's get this one in. And sometimes when you're working on placing it, you can sort of press down on the punch a little bit to kind of help hold the paper in place, just a little bit, and then you can be ready to punch. There we go. All right, so we've got our 3. All right, now we're ready to, let's get rid of this mess. Now we're ready to put our card together. So this one, I'm going to put one down here, and I'm going to put it down with just some Stampin' Seal or some glue if my Stampin' Seal is still giving me fits. So we're going to put one down there like that. Then we're going to take our Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to pop these 2 up. Okay, got some brand new Stampin' Dimensionals. It's always hard to get the first one out of a new sheet because there's like no room to grab anything. So we're going to put these on with some more dimensionals. And this just go wherever you want. There's really no right or wrong way as to how to put these on. Just wherever you think they're going to look good. You know, that's the beauty of creating, is that it's what you like. There's never any wrong way. There's a right way to use the equipment, but there's not a wrong way to design. All right. Now for this one, we're going to cut this distressed gold piece right in half. It doesn't matter if it's equally in half. You just want 2 pieces because we're going to end up putting a little bit of adhesive on the back here. And we're just going to have a little bit of that gold peek out from the sides, from the left and the right side. So it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter if they're cut exactly in half, because you're not going to be able to see. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Okay. Let me put one in the middle just to kind of help keep everything in place. We're going to put that right there. And I know it's in a different spot than on my other card, but that's okay. I had put my shamrocks in a different spot. And now we're going to add some of our brass butterflies. And these can just go wherever you want them to go. And we're going to add those little butterflies to give us another little touch of gold. And there we've got our first card. And this silly thing is doing it again today. And it's not, I tried to tighten these really, really well, but for some reason, they are not staying tight. All right, let's see if that works better. And that is our first card, our simple stamping card. So really, we just did a very little bit of stamping. We did some punching, and we created that rainbow background with just some other scraps of cardstock. So that's card number 1. Now for card number 2, we're going to do what I call a fun fold or a fancy fold or whatever you want to call them. So we're going to do a couple of different things here. We've got a piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock. It is, again, the standard 8.5 by 5.5. However, this one I've scored at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. Okay, and that will give us that gatefold look. Then I have a piece for the inside. I have a piece of our basic white that is 4 by 10.5, and I've scored this at 5 1/4. Hey, Donna, how are you? Cary, North Carolina. My sister's down there in Charlotte, and I have a nephew and his wife and daughter up in the Raleigh-Durham area. So, and people in Greensboro. So we're all over down there. And for the front of this, I've got a piece of, this is the Dandy Designs. This is one of our celebration papers. This one is free with a $100 purchase. We're going to put that on the inside. And I've got some Coastal Cabana that we're going to layer up, again, with the reverse of that Dandy Designs DSP. And then I've got just some other Granny Apple Green, Coastal Cabana, and basic white. And I'll give these sizes as we're working with them. All right, so let's get started with stamping on the inside of this. All right, so for this one, we're using our Granny Apple Green ink, but let me just clean off. I just have to wipe off 2 of these stamps because we use them with our shaded spruce. And now we're going to use Granny Apple Green. So I just need to make sure these are clean. Okay, so here we go. So up here, I'm going to stamp a big shamrock. Okay, and I'm going to stamp Happy St. Patrick's Day. Now, again, if you want to say happy birthday, you know, whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do. I'm just giving you just a suggestion of what you can do. All right, we're going to do Sending Luck and Love again, which is right over here. All right, and then, oh, look at that. Son of a gun, I had my finger on there. Well, we'll have to worry about that another time. Just for the demonstration purposes, well, let me just cut a new piece because that really will drive me crazy. Give me 2 minutes, folks, not even 2 minutes. Like 30 seconds to cut a new piece because if not, that's going to drive me batty. So, and you don't want to, I worked so hard to make these nice. I can use the back sides of those. I can cut those down and do other things with that. All right. Let's pretend that never happened and let's do a retake. And I will try not to get my fingers all over everything. All right, so I'm going to stamp a big shamrock here. There we go. All right, again, coming back in with my Happy St. Patrick's Day. Trying to be so careful to not get my fingers. All right, we're going to have Sending Luck and Love. Okay, and then I'm going to do again, make sure that's clean. I'm going to stamp on our little, what I'm calling like our shamrock border, for lack of a better term. I don't know what else you would call it, but it is kind of like a border piece. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we're ready to go ahead and add this. Let me close this up for a minute. We're done with that, actually. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add this to the inside, and I'm going to, I don't know if I can get my stamp and seal to work. Let's see if I can get it to work. Ooh, there it goes. Nice. Maybe like just a little bit of a lighter touch. Well, I didn't like that because I was still going pretty light, but we were on a roll there for a while. I love it when everything works how it's supposed to, but sometimes it just doesn't. Hi, Carol. Coming in from South Carolina. How are you tonight? Are you anywhere near Charleston? I love Charleston. It's such a pretty city. All right. So there we go. Then I have our piece of designer series paper that we're going to put on the front of our inside piece. You know what? I'm just going to not even fight the battle. I'm just going to go with the liquid glue. You know, some battles just aren't worth fighting, and that's one of them. To call. Okay, so we've got that there. Now I want to do one other thing. So I cut a shamrock. I punched a shamrock out of basic white, and I am going to run it through our mini Stamp and Cut Emboss on the Splatters embossing folder. This is part of that Splatters and Stripes set, just to give it a little bit of interest, because sometimes the white by itself can just be sort of boring. So we're just going to add a little bit of interest by embossing this with this Splatters embossing folder. I'm just going to put that kind of right in here. And it embosses on both sides. You can put it however you want it. Okay, let's just get that in there, a little bit on the stem. Now, you want to know what else I'm going to do? Because I love these butterflies because they're flat. So I'm going to add some butterflies in here. Okay, and again, that's just going to give it a little bit of visual interest when we open it up. All right, so now we've got our front we want to do. We're done with that. So I've got here a piece of Coastal Cabana. These are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I've got that Dandy Designs DSP. This is the reverse side of the piece that we put on the inside. These are 1 5/8 by 5. So we're going to layer these up on each side. And I keep going for the wrong glue one. Okay. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm keeping everything in view. That's one of the things I sometimes forget. I get so excited. I forget to keep things in view. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at our celebration offerings, but this designer series paper is so pretty. It's very spring-like. It's going to be perfect to roll into like the Easter season, Mother's Day, all that good stuff, all your spring events, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, baby showers, whatever's coming up. This is going to be the perfect designer series paper for all of your crafting needs for the spring. So it's free with a $100 purchase, and there's 48 sheets. So, I mean, you're getting a lot of designer series paper. All right, so now we're going to put one on each side. Okay. So again, we're getting there. We are getting there. Now, what I love about this stamp set too is that it's a cling stamp set. So when you have our cling stamp set, you can actually use our Stampin' Write markers on them to color them and then stamp. So we are going to do a little two-tone coloring on one of our stamps, and then we're going to stamp it. Okay. So now the last 3 pieces that we have, okay, that's going to sit right here. This is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4, 3 1/2 by 2 1/2, and 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. So you want to stamp on the white piece. So I have here our, a good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. So I want to make friend and lucky pop in a different color. So I'm going to color those with the Mango Melody Stampin' Write marker. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over there and lucky. So those two are going to be stamped, when we're stamped, those two will show up in Mango Melody. Now the rest of the words I am going to color with our Granny Apple Green. So I'm just going to go over them. Now this, sometimes this looks a little bit not quite as crisp as if I had stamped it all in one color, but I still think it looks pretty. It's different. And I like the fact that we can color on our red rubber stamps with our Stampin' Write marker, or our cling stamps with our Stampin' Write marker. Okay. Lucky to have. Now, the magic comes. So after I've got it all colored in, right, make sure. Okay, now I'm just going to huff on it with my, and you're just going to do that just to kind of reactivate all the ink. And we're just going to stamp it up here. Look at that. So now you've got that two-tone stamping effect on there. And I'm just going to come in with one more clover. One more. And we're going to put that right there. All right. And again, that was Granny Apple Green. All right. So now we're ready to finish our card. So I'm going to layer up these 3 pieces. Okay. I love Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana together. It's just one of my favorite combos. What are some of your favorite color combinations? What are 2 colors that you think look well together? Okay. So most of the cards for my February class will be in Parakeet Party and Tahitian Tide. Again, another combo that I really, really like together. So we were keeping it simple for February because we're getting ready for March. my workshop, my January workshop is Friday, and we're using the Country Bouquet bundle. So we're making Valentine's Day cards on Friday. All right, so there we have that one. Now we're going to put this on. I want to put that on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to just kind of push it over to the side a little bit because I want to figure out how high up I should go, because I don't want it to go above my, my 3 3/4 inches here. All right, so we've got that there. I got my little line of dimensionals. And now we're going to put those on. Just trying to make sure it's kind of centered. It's a little bit off. There we go. All right. And that is our second card. So we've got a gatefold. We open it up and we've got kind of a vertical flip card. All right. That's it for me tonight. I hope you enjoyed these. I hope that you liked the different designs that we did. Let me know. Leave a comment. You're near Columbia. Okay. Anyway, it was great having you so much. Thank you all for joining me. I am so happy that you're here. You all have a great weekend. Keep stamping, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. I can't get it to end. There we go.